Like a
I know,
car.
isn't it? Like when you really think about what a monopoly that is, you could finance negative equity on a depreciating asset, but on an appreciating asset, you can't finance negative equity.
That you're going to live in.
Yeah,
And you're going to live in this thing.
Oh, and by the way, it doesn't have wheels and can roll off. So KW recently just got fined $40 million for their agents calling the do not call registry. They were sending out robocalls, text messages, and basically just reaching out to people that were on the do not call registry and got a pretty nasty hand slapping over it of $40 million. Is that a hand slapping or more of like a butt whooping? What do you guys think?
I mean, I guess it depends on their balance sheet. But I would say 40 million is a butt slapping.
Yeah, that's a spanking.
This is a statement. This is more than a fine. This is a statement to the realtor community to stop cold calling.
Yeah.
Stop.
Do we know how they got? I mean, they probably do it more prevalent in KW, right? It's kind of a core model for them for a long period of time, especially when we held our license there for several years. But we know other companies do it, so why KW? Just because it was more frequent? Like, do we know?
Well, they have almost 200,000 real estate agents. And people were obviously calling in or submitting them on the, as a fine and violating the do not call registry. And that overarching brand, right? Even though each particular KW is a franchise, obviously KW International is who they went after because they have the deepest pockets.
Yep.
This is an actual lawsuit. Who was the lawsuit from?
So it was a class action lawsuit against KW and against their agents.
Several.
So yeah, it was class action. So several. And
So do all those agents have to pay something?
Yeah.
yeah, how does that
It
work?
wouldn't
Gary
surprise
Keller
me.
paying it.
It wouldn't surprise me if, they're probably gonna have to foot the bill, and I guess whose splits are going up.
They're gonna give
The royalties just went up.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. That cap just got raised.
There's going to be a new fee.
Yeah, that's
It's-
right.
it's gonna
As I said,
be
cap
the-
just got
Calling
raised.
fee.
The
Go from-
TCPA fee. They'll charge KW agents in perpetuity. So no, this is a big deal, and
It
I
is
think
a very big deal.
what we were talking about when this news broke was that hey, you don't need to cold call, you can warm call, right? You
Yep.
just have to do top of funnel marketing strategies, bring people in, have a list of people that have opted into your information, and then you can actually warm call them, warm reach out to them versus a cold call. But what we know is not a lot of agents do that.
Right. Because it requires system and process. You actually have to have something to capture that lead's information. But first, you have to have a unique value proposition displayed to that client. And then now they're raising their hand wanting to have a conversation with you. Huh, what a concept.
But this is like a legit concern for a lot of agents. This is how a lot of agents get their start in real estate is by cold calling.
Absolutely.
This is how a lot of agents say, "Hey, I don't like calling," because they throw up something like this, like, "Oh, what if they're on the do not call list? I get a fine. I don't need to call." So,
Yeah, I
Maybe
mean,
it's
for the
an
record,
excuse,
you can have it scrubbed, right, against the DNC, the do not call registry. Again, because I don't want to be I am a fan of prospecting, right? I mean, you guys all know that about me. I do believe that you should inspire the conversation and sometimes take it to the client. But there has to be based on a need, right? Like sometimes doing some of this ambulance chasing that's going on where, like, for example, I'm sure one of the ones that got hit the most was probably just the overall pulling a neighborhood and doing just listed, just sold calls, right? And then they're getting somebody, yeah, we're thinking about it from the fall. Okay, cool. Well, can I come over tonight at 3 o'clock to talk to you about selling your house tomorrow, right? When it's, it's like that ambulance chasing. And it's to me, that's what gives that whole prospecting and, kind of the used car salesman mentality of the industry, where I think sometimes people start looking down at agents in that circumstance because they get commission breath.
We talked last week about the Reddit story of the person whose house expired in August, and it's now January, and they're still having agents show up, and one agent waited 2 hours outside for the seller to come out,
dude.
And so I think that, we know transaction count is lower.
Yep.
And so we know that agents may be getting a little desperate.
do you think this is from circle prospecting, right?
That's what I would
When
anticipate.
They're calling people in the neighborhood and saying,
Absolutely.
"Oh, they're getting that," because we've had those calls before.
Yeah.
We're like, "Hey, dude, I'm an agent." It's like, "Hey, your neighbor's house sold for top dollar, and
Yeah,
we're
4
looking
doors
for,
down.
Did you know that?" And that sort of thing.
They're trying to sneak in.
Absolutely. I don't know. It's probably a lot of calling.
But there's a lot of you know, sellers out there that are raising their hand, but where it's just hidden, right? I mean, like the for sale by owners of Zillow right now.
Yep.
You could jump onto Zillow, find a bunch of for sale by owners in your area, and start calling those. I mean, those are people that have their information right on Zillow, so you're able to call them since they advertise their phone number and their information on Zillow.
They're fair game.
They're fair game.
So, and I think that's a whole segment of people that you could go after. What would you say if you called them?
Hey, I have a cash offer for you.
Good answer.
That's exactly. That's candidly. That's
Would
where
you
I
be
was going to
interested
go
in me
too.
coming over and
Yep.
taking a look, and I'll show you the cash offer?
Yeah, like simple
From
one. Like
our
one of the ones
client.
I talk about our member base using is, hey, I see your house on Main Street is for sale. Is it still available? Yes. Okay, great. I actually happen to have a cash buyer that's shopping inside this area, and it looks like this property would meet their criteria. So would you mind if I come by and verify a few facts and conditions about the particular property? And if so, they're ready to move forward and make a cash. And just so you know, they actually a unique cash buyer that allows you to close anytime between the next 21 days or as far out as 90 days. Is that something that would be a fit for you and your family? Sure, cool, right? So it's like start building rapport and those types of things. So to Jay's point, there's people out there raising their hand. And then to our point, Kayla, was having a unique value proposition that starts the conversation.
Yeah, my advice to agents would be sometimes it's hard, right? Because you're looking at the deal, and obviously, you know, we're in the business of selling properties, and then we get rewards for selling those properties. Just make sure building that initial relationship, really finding out why they want to sell, is most important. Achieve that first. Make sure that they're making the decision. You're not trying to force anything on them. Unfortunately, I don't, some people operate that way, and obviously there's a ton of people who don't. But, just being around enough transactions year over year over year, you see it a lot in the industry. So that would be my advice. There's lots of opportunity out there, and you'll get more opportunities when you truly, achieve the goals that they were looking for without, forcing anything upon them.
Yeah. You know what I find about our industry as a whole? Not ironic, funky, whatever, word you want to use there, is candidly, this is an industry that's supposed to be fiduciary based, right? Meaning that you're putting your client's highest and best interest above your own, right? That's why you earn that commission inside of that. And without a doubt, I would say, and I don't want to blanket the industry as a whole, because obviously there's the rock star agents and, the operate off fiduciary, et cetera. So not as a whole, but I would say widely, this is a agent first operation in a lot of actions. And that's what this FINED to me is, I think, probably constitutes, right? Like it's that commission chasing, because it's an oversaturated industry, which again, I know we're going to talk about Robert Refkin live here in just a second, but where the industry, 1.6 million active agents probably will drop down, right? And especially with the transaction counts projected to fall the way that
properly.
It is.
It is good.
There is
high
shakeout
probability.
happening. Well, we talk about the thinning of the herd.
Yeah, thatching.
Right. We know that that's coming, and we know that we're raising the bar because only few will survive, right? But so let's talk a little bit about Robert Refkin. He was on CNBC this morning live talking about Compass, talking about market changes, talking about purchase applications being up 25% week over week, talking about how his agents are now showing more homes than they were, last month, et cetera. So a lot of indicators that the housing market has bottomed out and we're back to normalizing and back to the new normal. What are our thoughts on that?
Well, he also dropped a bomb that they spent $1 billion on their end-to-end technology, and I've never seen it. Have you seen it?
I haven't.
Does anyone know what
that's
that looks like?
That's such a big
Like, he said $1 billion. Like,
A
he did.
billion.
Not a million.
Hold on though, because that's such a big topic that I think that could send us off, in a lot of ways. Let's address that first part.
Well, he
though.
said it on CNBC. $1 billion. They spent $1 billion.
I almost yeah, dude.
On their tech stack.
Well, and not only that, remember they had 1,000 developers.
Yeah. Well, he also said that too.
How do you
better
even
than
manage
at some point.
1,000 developers?
They don't. It's just a waste of money. Yeah,
One tree branch isn't talking to
Jeez.
the other one.
Yeah.
Obviously, they wasted a lot of money because there's
Yes.
nothing to show for
And their
it.
burn rate.
Hey, if you're enjoying this content, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. We release a new podcast every Tuesday.
I don't know about there's nothing to show for it, but he talks about this
Well,
utopian
end-to-end, yeah.
technology where an agent can
A
go
single
end
code
to
base. He
end
tries to
and-
say that to sound like clickbaity on CNN.
Yeah, $1 billion. Yeah, that's a lot of money to spend on a tech stack that like none of us agents know about, right? If they had some massive, amazing tech stack, I think as an agent I would know about it and know what it does.
And we all know the end-to-end piece of technology in our industry, because there are so many facets of it, pretty much doesn't exist, right? That's why they have like integrations, Zapier integrations, and those types of things to bridge your technologies together, because most of the time, right, regardless of capital, anytime that anybody's trying to take these things on, either A, they're ineffective, they're inefficient, there's too much going on, or they break. And it's because the code base, as he said, in that circumstance has issues anytime it tries to branch over and pull from that many, database pieces of things. So
They don't have a cash offer platform because we have several Compass agents.
We have a
using
lot of Compass
Zoodealio,
agents.
So I don't. They didn't throw that in there in that $1 billion bill.
If you had access
Yeah, their white glove
to
service.
$1 billion, what would you build? Real estate industry.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I wouldn't be stupid enough to try and think I could build end to end. That's for damn sure.
But let's go back to what he said. So, because I find that even interesting where, again, if he's got the data, that's cool. I'd like to see what the source is, but where it's up 25% as far as that goes. Let me ask you guys, because Jay, Keith, you guys obviously deal with a lot of the offers and operations on that type of thing. Have you guys noticed an uptick in the demand in the properties that directly work with?
Yes. There's
Yeah,
been
for sure.
there's
a lot more showings.
a lot more showings, and some of these properties have turnaround times out on the last 30 days have been a little quicker.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Right. So what
multiple offers. We had some with multiple offers. That's
yeah,
good.
and that doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
One sold for $15,000 above list. When's the last time you heard that?
It's been months.
So, say it's
been
6
months.
months. Yeah, 6 months, a year ago.
Hey, another nugget that came from Robert Refkin is he said that Compass is no longer paying agents to come over.
Hold on, let's put a spotlight on that, because he kind of slid that in.
It was definitely the PC version, but this is
Yeah.
essentially what he said.
Yeah,
is
the
we're-
word financial incentives.
we're
Yeah.
no longer offering financial incentives. So we laugh because that was kind of the gig of Compass. And they're not in the Phoenix market yet.
Yeah.
And so we've not been propositioned to join them. But in the markets that they were in, what they would do is they would go into the market and they would find the top producing agents and they would say, hey, come over and we will pay you to come over. So they got all the top agents to come over. And then after they got the top agents to come over, all the other agents said, oh, all of these top agents are going to Compass. So
Yep.
I should go to Compass. And we're definitely a herd mentality in real estate. And so what one does soon will follow suit. And
These
so,
were sizable bonuses, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was,
like
it was
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I know.
There may have been some $1 million ones. Some of these teams.
Yeah, and some of these
That we're
mega
getting from.
teams.
Dang, I wish they would have came to Phoenix. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe they would have paid us.
Yeah.
Exit.
We could
Come
do.
join our brand.
Yeah, so that was really interesting. In other tech talk news, it looks like there was some breaking news last week that Boomtown was acquired
Oh,
by
yes.
Inside Real Estate, and so I thought that was kind of interesting. So Inside Real Estate powers several real estate technologies, including probably the one you've mostly heard of is conversion,
KV Core.
KV
Yep.
Core.
Oh, yeah. It used to be conversion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was when it
way
was
back in the day.
when it was
conversion.
good. It was conversion.
Yeah.
KV Core, in my opinion, is
That was our first
I loved it.
CRM.
Yep.
Our IDX CRM, wasn't it?
It was the first like lead generating.
Yeah, lead generating.
Right,
CRM.
Remember
right.
when
When
was
you got a-
Boomtown and conversion?
Remember
right?
you got
It was
a
the early
lead-
onset.
Conversion was before
Yeah.
Boomtown. I think Boomtown
And
was even out when
I think
conversion was like
well, you had
first.
Commissions Inc. before they turned Sync, right? And you had Tiger Leads, which was like kind of like the early onset of that. You had Tiger Leads, Boomtown, Conversion.
I'm pretty sure conversion was
I'm
like,
not sure,
very
but
first.
I'm gonna Google. I'm gonna
I
fact
feel
check
like
this.
Boomtown was the first big dog.
Really?
I think so. I'm not.
I don't think so because
Does it matter?
when we first saw conversion, it was like,
Does
wow,
it
this
matter?
is cool.
It was
right?
so cool. I'm with you. It was
Like,
so
I've never
cool. It was
seen
like
anything
game
like it.
changer. Yep, it was game changer. It was the new must-have technology, kind of like a cash offer platform.
So it looks like Boomtown was founded in 2006.
Okay.
And let's see when conversion. 2011. So
Okay, so
Elliot,
Boomtown was right.
Elliot gets the.
Well,
All right.
I get
Boomtown.
every
I never
squirrel
heard
gets a
of
nut
Boomtown
now.
before
let's
then.
let's say it because he doesn't hear it often. You were right.
You were right, Elliot.
Just enjoy that moment.
No,
You were right.
There's 2006. So that was a full 5 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
Wow.
a
well,
long time.
what was wild too about that whole thing, and I think this is very relevant. What's going on in our industry today, is remember that you could only access it if you were a broker, right?
Oh.
In the early days, they
Which
would
Conversion
only,
or Boomtown?
Which one?
both of them.
Both of them.
They
Okay.
both rolled out that. Then they came out with their agent adoption, team adoption platforms because they were too expensive for 99% of the agents to take on themselves, right? Like Boomtown. Like I remember when I was because it was like one of my first years of being an owner, it was like $5,000 or $6,000 a month for the platform. It was hella expensive, at the time. So
Yeah. Well.
Right. Yeah, we've
but
had
I mean, it
we've
included
had 'em-
ads and stuff like that they were gonna run. But I mean, they were actually just lead generating things, and then they added on the CRMs afterwards, right? So there you go, Robert Refkin. There's some technology involvement for you, adoption, right? Create the lead,
Hey,
convert the lead.
Any idea what Boomtown was acquired for? Do we have any idea?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It wasn't disclosed.
Wasn't
It's got to be
disclosed.
pretty sizable, man. I mean, Boomtown it's still
Well,
expensive, and they have like what they claim to have 200,000 agents on the platform.
Do they really?
Yeah, it's hella big.
But they're also inside real estate was. They were firing people too.
There
They
were
letting
layoffs.
layoffs.
Well, they just acquired this big ass technology.
Yeah,
we gotta let some people go
Let
now.
some people go.
Dude, I
It's
mean,
crazy.
honestly, I'm really. I have to admit, we didn't even talk about it that much, but I'm actually very, very surprised by it. I know inside real estate has deep pockets, and obviously the KV core and all that, but I mean, that their only competitor now is going to be Sync.
Yeah,
right?
but might sink because
Sync might
I mean
sink.
it's pretty. That's pretty big. That's a
Dude.
big. Now that they can, they came together. It's a behemoth.
I think that people like options though.
Yep.
And I think that, there's the market for it. So I don't see it as being negative. I don't think that Sync is going to be like squeezed out now just
Nah.
because they
No.
joined forces.
No, I don't think it's
Sync has
squeezed out,
some
but-
really cool things in their platform. I think that like your practitioners, use with some of the triggering, the way that they build their landing pages, right? Not to go too techie on us, but like KV Core and a lot of that stuff, they've really parsed it out. Like where it used to be like you had the platform and then all these cool tools. Now it's add on this $200, add on this $200.
Yeah.
Right. And there's
Yeah.
I think that they not all agents like that. Whereas Sync is still you pretty much get everything and you can
Yeah.
build a really cool kick-ass site.
Well, Sync definitely
doing
has
that.
the add-ons, that's for sure. But I think that what we can appreciate is when the platform, it really is there to serve you. And I think that every time you have to turn around and upgrade and pay for something else, it just feels like you're getting fleeced.
Yeah.
But then I can also, now that we run a technology company, I can see it from the technology company
There's
angle,
expense to it.
where it is expensive
You
to
add
run
something and-
technology. It is expensive to build technology.
Huh.
Like you have no idea how expensive it is to build technology that's cool, that works.
Just ask
And-
Robert Refkin. He spent $1 billion on it.
Hey, Rob,
True.
how
True.
much you spend, bro?
It's
A billy.
expensive. It's
billy.
expensive. And it's worth it, right? And so I was like having this internal dialogue yesterday about, building Zoodealio and all that we have learned and how expensive, and not only expensive, but time consuming. Not only time consuming, but we put all of our energy into this where that opportunity cost is lost because if all of that energy and effort went into this, it didn't go into something else. And so it is definitely worth it and expensive.
Well, dude, that is such fire what you just said right there because like identify the problem, solve the problem, and then here's the gamble of it all is once you identify the problem, your solution to that problem, you don't know if it's going to work.
Well, by the time you built it, that problem may already be gone.
Exactly. You never know. Yeah, there's a lot of unique. I mean, it's constantly evolving, right? That is the cool space. I mean, that's why I love the real estate industry that we've been in the last 5 to 10 years. Is it's just getting sharper and better, and we're actually, I would say, moving towards such a fluid transactional experience, right? Like where I know that there's a lot of theories that a house could turn into, more of like trading it like a commodity and those types of things down the road and being able to move with the click of a button. I mean, we are fast approaching that, right? So being able to order up that home sale Order up that home
Absolutely.
purchase.
I
Yeah,
love it.
that won't work for everybody though, unless they put a big down payment. You live in your house a decent amount of time to even get something out of it.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think it'll go there, but I don't know if it'll happen at
I don't think
mass scale though.
I agree with you. I don't think it'll ever be the entire sector. It'll be a portion of the sector.
But it has to get better. I mean, I could go to the Cadillac dealership and buy $100,000 Escalade
Yep.
and drive it home today and have
Today.
it. But I couldn't go buy a $100,000 house today and have it.
Correct.
today.
With a loan.
The process sucks, and you should be able to finance negative equity into your new house, just like a car.
I know, isn't it? Like when you really think about what a monopoly that is, you could finance negative equity on a depreciating asset, but
Right.
on an appreciating asset, you can't finance negative equity.
That you're going to live in.
Yeah,
And you're going to live
like-
in this thing.
Oh, and by the way, it doesn't have wheels and can roll off. Like, I mean, how bass backwards is that?
It is.
Unless you're in a bad
I think
junction.
until those problems get fixed, then who knows, right?
It is
maybe
funny.
maybe they never will be. I guess we'll see.
Well, definitely a lot of shakeup in the industry. And I know that we're all on pins and needles over the commission lawsuit against NAR because that could really change the trajectory of residential real estate as we know it. But we're going to table that until time comes for that lawsuit to be heard. A lot going on, guys. So what are our parting thoughts for those that are listening and they're just, maybe feeling it's a little bit slower? They're trying to build some momentum in their business. Let's give everybody just like a piece of encouragement before we end today's podcast.
For me, it's the same thing that we're doing with our team here and simplifying the message, like paring down what you deliver, right? I think I sent you guys the IG post by Hermosi, shocking that I brought that up, to where he's talking about, he's stealing a Russell Brunsonism where you have to pare down your message to basically a 7th grade reading level or lower. Russell Brunson's is 5th grade or lower. Well, I think that actually is very true with even agents running their business. What are your 3 simple things that have to happen that single day, right? Like, is it I'll still a Tom Ferryism, make a call to a past client, make a call to a new lead, and make a call to your SOI. Like every single day, just inspire a conversation, because the ripple effects of what that happens, and then you do that times 5, times 22 work days, a month, right? The ripple effects off of those are huge. Don't overcomplicate it.
Love it.
Yes, 100%. I think the issue is with anything regard, even outside the real estate industry, but we'll obviously keep it specific to that. Not everyone's gonna be consistent at that because they don't enjoy it. So find something that you can
100%.
relate to, or go, you know what? I'm going to train my ass off and get really good at it. And then just be super consistent with that and lead with the cash offer. However you want to create those leads, find out what you like and create those leads, but lead with that value proposition. And it's easy. It's really
It is easy.
And the hardest part is, I guess, finding what you like and can be consistent with bringing in new opportunities to have those real estate conversations.
Hold on, let me give a little asterisk on what you just said there, because what you said is actually super revolutionary. So find what you like, do what you like to do, then amplify it with cash. And one of the biggest and most challenging things for agents is to find access to the capital. Secret for you. Zoodealio gives you access to cash.
Yes, we sure do.
What's a Zoodealio?
It's
Check it out, Zoodealio.com.
okay, product plugging, but I would 1,000,000% agree with you. Hey, I think we are bombarded with messaging every single day. In the 1970s, the average person saw about 500 advertisements or marketing messages a day. In the 1990s, people saw 5,000 marketing or advertising messages a day. Today, it's estimated that we see 35,000
Isn't that
marketing or
insane?
advertising messages every single day. So it is a noisy, noisy world. And the takeaway is that you have to be loud. And if you're not using video, if you're not using social media, if you're not leading with these unique value propositions again and again and again, over and over and over, it's going to be lost. It's going to be lost on people because they're not going to remember it. So I think you have to have your message and you have to repeat that message frequently over time in order to be effective.
Yeah, that was good. You know how
Super
you can
good.
be loud? If you get good at it or you enjoy it.
Well,
Yeah.
and don't go wide, go deep, right? Like that's that whole riches are in the niches.
That's right. That's right.
Take us, end us out, Jay.
For me, it's the shift is a gift, right? The market's definitely shifted. we're definitely going to see a lot of agents fall out. But find those niches, like we were talking about, and go after them because and be consistent, because you'll get there if you're consistent and you do it over and over and over again. So the shift is a gift. Go get it.
I like it. Cool. Well, thanks, guys. We appreciate you for tuning into this podcast. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and then also, if you are enjoying this content, make sure to give us a review, right? That's how so many other people are going to find out about this, and we would certainly appreciate that. So if you're enjoying the content, give us a good review.